Hey, how are you? My name is Drew, aka Booty Sweat. If you're new to my channel, then welcome. If not, welcome back. And today we're actually going to undertake a little bit of a project here. We're going to take this Mayflash F500 arcade stick and we're going to review it a little bit, but mostly I want to just mod it and kind of go into detail how you can put new buttons on it, put one of those little WASD things on it that I put in that other video, which I'll link at the top of the video right now. I had somebody ask me, well, how do you actually put one of those in? Can you show us how to do that? So I'm going to do that today. So we're going to pan over to some tools that we're going to be using during this project. It's not very much and it's pretty simple. So, all right. So the first thing that you're going to need is you're going to need you may need, let's put it that way. You may need the following things. You're definitely going to need a Phillips head screwdriver. So make sure you have one of those. And then you may need a flathead screwdriver to remove the back of the stick. You may not, it depends on how firmly it's on there. And then this is kind of a finicky thing that we'll get into. This is needle nose pliers. This is just if you're like me and your sausage fingers can't quite get in there and get the connectors off of the buttons very easily. You may not necessarily need this. And if you do use this, I'll show you how, and you need to be extremely careful if you're using this because you don't want to damage anything. You could damage it pretty easily. Also, we have just some little Sanwa buttons that I got off focusattack.com. We've got some yellow ones that we're going to be putting on this particular stick. And we have this cool thing that we made that other video on. The other one is already on that other stick, and we're going to put this one on the Mayflash F500. So that's what we're going to be doing today. All right, so we have here the box for the F500 Universal Arcade Stick. This is like the big cousin of the one that we reviewed in the other video. And so this one is natively supported on the PS4 and the Xbox One. And so we're gonna unbox this little bad boy. Again, you just undo the tab there and open him up. And you can already tell from the weight of the package that this guy's got a lot of beef to him. Now this one retails for about I don't know, $90 or something, as opposed to $40 that the other one retailed for. So it's got a lot of heft, it's got a lot to it, it's much bigger. Here in the box we have this little thing. It's a USB pass-through that comes in there. You have to keep in mind that in order to use this on the PS4, you have to hook that to, there's a little USB right here, and you have to hook that to the PS4 or Xbox One controller, and that's how it's able to be used on those platforms. That one is the Xbox pass-through, this is the PS4 pass-through. And then also, it comes with a cool little thing. If you prefer an octagate instead of a square gate, it comes with a replacement. You can swap out the gate in the stick. It's a square gate normally, which is what most people use. But if you like using an octagate, you actually can put one in there. So that's pretty cool as well. All right, so now we're going to just flip this guy over and see what we have going on inside. In order to do this, you want to just kind of place it lightly on the stick like that. It's okay, it's not gonna hurt it. That thing is designed to be waggled all over the place, so it's not gonna hurt it for you to put it on there lightly like that. And then you're just going to take your Phillips head screwdriver. There are 6 screws on the back. You take out each one. All right, so now we have all 6 of the screws out. Now for this next part, you may not need the flathead screwdriver. That's why I said it might not be necessary, but it's helpful for me because I have a hard time kind of getting in there. But what it'll help you do is kind of get in there like that. You can gently push up, use it as leverage, and get this frame, this back part of the frame off. Again, that's a nice metal frame. That's where most of the heft on this thing comes from, just like its little cousin, the F101. So again, I'm pretty impressed with these Mayflash sticks. I think they're pretty solid for the money for sure. So now that we have it opened up, you'll see a variety of parts. And what we're going to do is we're going to replace 6 of the buttons with these Sanwa buttons, and we're going to replace the lever with this WASD drop-in fight pad. Really, with these kinds of sticks, they're so easily moddable that it's not really too much of a big deal. And so the first thing you want to do is you want to remove the stick. So what you have to do is you have to take a flathead screwdriver and kind of hold it in place like that, and then use your other hand. Let me see if I can finagle this. Use your other hand to kind of twist the ball top off. There we go. Then the ball top comes right off. Oops. There you go. It's off. So what that means now is you can actually remove the actual connectors and stuff. You can take the entire stick module out now. So if you'll see, there's kind of these connectors each on there. They're soldered to the actual stick itself, but not to the PCB. The reason for that being they wanted this to be a pretty moddable, a very moddable stick. And so you'll notice that these each go to these little connectors in here. So you just want to remove them. Try not to pull by the wire if you want to reuse the stick. If you don't care about the stick, like I don't, then you can just get them out there however you can. Ignore my cat, she's destroying the house. All right, now we've got all 4 of these connectors removed from the PCB. You just pull them out, it's no big deal. There actually was a zip tie on there, but I got rid of that. They did a good job of kind of making everything nice and neat in here, and I'm gonna ruin everything, but it's because I gotta replace all the buttons anyway, so for our purposes, that's okay. And if you have a zip tie around, you can always just put a new one on there. So now that we have all of these removed from the PCB, you'll notice there are 4 screws holding the actual stick, platform, module, whatever it's called, I'm not sure, in there. So you just want to take those out. All right, and now that we have all 4 screws out, you can just remove the whole thing like that. Don't try not to lose your screws, bro, because you're gonna need that. So place them aside where you can find them easily, don't lose them. And here we go. This is the stick module platform, whatever. We're gonna put that aside because we don't need it for the time being. And we're actually going to go ahead and install this bad boy. Now this is again the Omni Arcade Odin WASD drop-in fight pad. It's so easy to install that I didn't even bother talking about how to on the last video where I reviewed it. However, we're going to go a little more in depth this time. So all you have to do is you want to take these 2 kind of screw-on nuts. Just take one off. Keep in mind the smaller one goes on second. The bigger one goes on first. Yeah, there we go. You literally pop this guy in. So you take the front of it like this, put your cords through, put them all the way in, and reapply these nuts. So now that you have both of these applied on there, boom, it's installed. You just want to rotate it to where it's the effective position that you like. And then you just plug it into the PCB. This is for LED stuff. You don't necessarily need it. Little red cord is for LED stuff. And you just want to make sure you plug it in where it accepts it right on here. On your PCB, you'll see where the other connectors were. There's one that's 5 pins and bigger than the others. That's where you want to install this thing, okay? See, there's 5 receptors there. You want to put it where there's 5 pins. And just ever so gently plug it right on in. And literally it works. You plug in the stick and it works. I mean, it's that easy. Seriously, I don't know how long that just took me to install, but I'm willing to bet it was like 2 minutes. So, very easy to install. Really cool little piece of hardware there. Yeah, so we're gonna move on to the buttons now. All right, so now that we are ready to move on to the buttons, let me mention real quick too before we do, if you plug in this Odin WASD little guy into that connector and it doesn't work initially, this is all in the instructions. Like I mentioned, they give detailed written instructions for how to install it. Just pull it out and flip it around. You may have put it in backwards. It's not always easy to tell when you're first putting it in. If it doesn't work, flip it and put it back in, and you should be fine. All right, now with these buttons, what you'll notice is there are little connectors, and so you want to pull these plastic coverings back from the connectors. So we're using this one, which is usually the light punch button. And you'll notice that there's just little connectors on there, and they're going to be on there pretty good. So you don't want to pull the wire. If you pull the wire, you're going to damage it. And these are your button wires. You want these. You're going to end up having to buy a whole new wire, and it's going to be a pain in the butt. So you don't want to do that. What you can do, a lot of people do, is they just use their fingers and kind of wiggle it. However, my fingers are a little too big for that. As you'll notice, I was trying to do it and it wouldn't come. So I use a pair of needle nose pliers. Now, when you're using these, be extremely careful with them. You do not grip the wire with these, and you don't grip too hard because you don't want to damage any parts. So what I'll do is I'll get just firm enough of a grip, and I'll wiggle back and forth until the little bad boy decides he wants to come off. There we go. And see, even that was a little bit rough there. So you want to make sure you're not doing it too rough because you don't want to break anything. But at the same time, you might have to manhandle it just a little bit to get everything to be squared. So now we'll take the other connector off. I know a lot of people would be like, why is this idiot using needle nose pliers? It's because I have to. You may not have to, and if you don't have to, then don't. All right, so now you'll notice on the button itself, there are little push-in parts where you can just push it in, and it comes right out. So there's our proprietary button that we don't need, and we want to replace it with this nice yellow and black Sanwa button. You see on the sides there are those little clip parts. That's where you want to line it up appropriately, and pop them in. You should hear a little click, pops right in, button's in there. Then all you have to do is take those connectors that you popped off of the other button and just put them right back on. Make sure they're on good, and then replace the covers. Now, I'm not going to put us doing all 6 of these on camera, but just one so that you can kind of see how it goes. And then once you have that done, boom, there's your button. All right, so we have replaced all of the buttons that we're going to replace now. It was only 6, I left 2 of them in there. But you can see the black ones instead of the red ones. The black ones are the ones we replaced it with. So you notice on the front side here, we've replaced all of the proprietary buttons that we need with some nice yellow Sanwas. I left these because I don't typically use these 2 buttons in any game that I play, so there's no reason to spend extra money. I got yellows to match my little WASD drop-in fight pad thing, and then all we're gonna do is we're just gonna place it back over. Make sure your cable is in the compartment. You don't want to accidentally leave it out of the compartment. And then we're just gonna put the back on. Place it on top, like so. And reapply the screws. Okay, so we have our completed project for the sake of today. It's not super pretty looking right now, but I'm probably gonna work on it some more. But for the sake of showing you guys, this thing went right in. These buttons went right in. And overall, I can say for the actual stick itself, I like the heft. I'm probably going to just play with it off screen. I don't know if I'm going to do a full testing in this video. This video was mostly about showing you how to mod the stick really anyway, not necessarily all about, you know, a full review of the F500. So there are plenty of those out there. If you want me to do one, I might do one. Leave a comment below. But overall, yeah, this is a fun experience. Modding on a moddable stick is not hard at all, and it took maybe like 20 minutes to get all the buttons in, to get the WASD part in, everything else. So pretty fun experience. I like doing it. If you're interested in doing it, I would suggest you pick up one of these, either the Mayflash F500, the F300, the F101, one of those kind of, they're less expensive, but they're still solid build, solid quality sticks. And then just buy yourself some Sonwolf hearts and go crazy. It's really a lot of fun. If you're thinking about doing it, I definitely encourage you to do so. All right, well, that's about it for this one. If you have any questions, comments, and concerns, leave them down in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, have a good one. Be blessed.